Remember, cover letters are an extension of you as a potential applicant. They can make or break the entire application process for you. If they're well written, it says, "Hey, I'm a good communicator. I care about myself. I represent myself in a clean, professional manner." And it says a lot about who I am as a candidate if I take the care to represent myself in that way. However, if I have a lot of typographical errors or some grammatical issues going on, an employer can look at that and say, well, this person doesn't care enough to sell themselves in a professional way. Why should I care enough to hire them or to even invite them here for an interview? Remember, the application packet's main goal is to get an interview. So let's start with some of the basics. Formatting. When writing a cover letter, basically you're writing a professional business letter. So a traditional business letter would be written in block formatting. Now, you'll start out with your block address at the top, which would not include your name. It would just be your street address, city, state, zip. Then follow that with the date that the letter was written. And if you wanted to, if you have a unique heading that you've created for your resume, if you wanted to, you could always use that in place of that address block. You don't have to. You can use the traditional address block if you wanted to, but if you have that unique heading, it does, make everything look sharp if it is the same heading as on your actual resume. After you have your contact information and the date that it's written, you go to the inside address. This is the contact address for the person in the company that you're writing to. Whenever possible, address your letter to a specific individual. Include that person's name, their title, their company name, the city, street, the street address, the city, state, and zip. If you can't find all that information, include as much of that information as you can. Now, many of you may find it difficult to find a specific name for the hiring manager of a position that you're looking at, and that's becoming an increasingly common issue as we become more digitized. So if you can't find a specific person, that's okay. You can simply open it up with, hiring manager, address it to the hiring manager or to whom it may concern. If you must do it, you can do it that way. But it's usually most effective if you can call up the company, find the name of the person, and address it to that person. Now, you don't have to do that with this project. I'll accept dear hiring manager as the addressee at this point. But if you're really serious about getting a specific job, you want to do the extra legwork to see if you can find that specific person. After you have the inside address, you're going to include a salutation. Dear Mr., Ms., Doctor, the person's name, and then follow that with a colon. Not a semicolon, not a comma, a colon. That's the business letter standard. All right, so if you do not have a colon there for a professional communicator, it undermines your whole case for being an effective professional communicator. All right, colon, no comma, no semicolon, just a colon. After that, you're going to have the body of the letter, and this is where block format really becomes easy, I guess. Block formatting says you have single-spaced paragraphs, you skip a space in between the paragraphs, so you have double space between the paragraphs. You have no indentations, everything is left aligned, and I would say the body of your letter should not be any more than maybe 3 to 5 basic paragraphs. If possible, you want to keep your cover letter restricted to 1 page, all right? So make it legible. You don't want to have a 9-point font. You want to stay between the 10 and 12-point font range, but you want to try to keep it on 1 page if you can. And then finally, after your body of your letter, you're going to have your closing, sincerely, and then the name. All right, type your name, but make sure you skip enough space so you can sign your name. If you are sending this in the mail, you'll want to make sure you add that signature. If you're submitting this online, you don't necessarily need to have a written signature in there. A 4-paragraph strategy, if you're not sure to where to get started, this can really help. All right, so consider starting with a 4-paragraph strategy as a way to get that first rough draft out of the way. All right, first paragraph should emphasize why you're writing. All right, so you should state the position that you're applying for and explain maybe 1 or 2 skills that you might have that match you to the actual posting. Okay, The second paragraph is all about your experiences that you bring to the table. So that'll be talking about your internships, your past employment history, your academic experiences at Stout. Paragraph 3 is your opportunity to show how much you know about the company. So you're going to want to match yourself to the company itself. You can do this very effectively by visiting the company's mission statement, learning more about who they are, what they care about, and if you can draw some parallels between your professional goals and something that the company identifies with, that goes a long way to saying this person will really fit in with us. And then finally, paragraph 4, make sure you say thank you. That is one of the biggest mistakes a lot of people make. They forget to say thank you. And make sure that you request an interview, or at least make it known that you are looking for an in-person interview as an opportunity to kind of see where this relationship could go with the company. All right, so paragraph 1, what would that look like? Well, large companies often hire for more than one position at a time, so you want to make sure that you state the specific position you're looking for. You also want to state, the skills or abilities in the posting which you believe you possess. So, for example, a good opening paragraph might say, this letter is in regards to the customer service specialist position with 3M. With 4 years of customer service experience and strong interpersonal skills, I believe I have a lot to offer the organization. Something like that touches on the basic skills that are stated in the actual ad, and it tells you exactly what you're looking for and with what company. Paragraph 2 matches you to the job. So you provide specific details from your internships or any past experiences. And if you can provide statistics, that goes a long way to selling you as a potential candidate. For example, as a summer intern with Wired magazine, I worked closely with the circulations manager to increase enrollment by online subscribers. By conducting brief polls of our target demographic, I designed several promotional materials, including a Facebook page that increased our monthly readership by 20%. Something like that. Notice how the specifics, the percentages, those specific details really provide insights into that experience that might not have been mentioned explicitly in your resume. And notice how that might create a positive impact to the actual reader. Paragraph 3, every employer wants to know why you want to work for them, so tell them. And it's really easy to do this when you match yourself to the organization. So here's a snippet from a cover letter that I wrote when I was applying to Stout. The University of Wisconsin-Stout provides versatile degree programs to a diverse student body. With programs in professional communications and emerging media, the Department of English and Philosophy is offering its students an opportunity to develop skills essential for the 21st century workplace. As a writing and multimedia specialist at GSU, I incorporated a variety of technologies in all of my writing courses and have worked to create internship opportunities for my students. Furthermore, with my experience teaching hybrid and online writing, ESL, and developmental writing courses, I am a flexible instructor poised to meet many department and student needs. In this, I'm talking about specifics from the department. I'm saying, the department's looking for somebody that's tech savvy. I have some experience with writing technologies. And what are some other needs that they have? Well, we have a growing international student body. What university doesn't? So, my experience teaching ESL students or teaching developmental writing students might be something that's appealing to them. So I'm able to insert that in there to kind of make the case that I have things to offer this department. I might even have things that you might not have even thought that I could offer. And by inserting that information, you're really matching yourself to the employer. And that's just an example of something that I wrote when I was applying here. Paragraph 4, try to cover the following. Make sure you requested an in-person interview. Make sure that you invite questions from the employer. Restate your preferred means of contact. Just because you include it at the top of the page does not mean that it works here. You have to have it at the bottom. And you want to make sure that you thank them for your time. So, for example, it might read, it would be a pleasure to meet with you in person to discuss how I might be of service to your organization. In the meantime, should you have any questions regarding my qualifications, please do not hesitate to contact me by phone at 715-555-5555. Thank you for the time and consideration that this matter requires. That's a pretty effective close, especially for like a rough draft, so work with it. Now, working forward from that 4-paragraph draft that you have, you might want to consider a few things that could help revise the content to better fit your own writing style or strategy that you might have for this application packet. Consider condensing paragraph 1 with paragraph 3 to really match yourself to the position in the company. This would demonstrate an interest that would grab the reader's attention more effectively. So if you're combining paragraph 1 and 3 and using that as your opening paragraph, it really helps make the case outright that you know what you're getting into, that you're a good, strong match for this company in this position. Then you might want to consider, if that doesn't work, combining portions of paragraph 2 and paragraph 3 to kind of demonstrate how your prior experiences directly embody the mission statement of the organization or directly fit in the position that you're applying to. So you can either combine 1 and 3 and use that as your opening, or you could have the small opening paragraph that states the position and combine your experiences with the paragraph that matches you to the company and to the position. Either way, condensing those or even taking some elements of paragraph 3 and putting it in paragraph 1 and paragraph 2 alternatively, it might be helpful. Just the more that you're matching yourself to the position, to the organization, to the company, that can be really helpful. Also, play with the order of the content to create your own voice while presenting content that will supplement and complement your resume. Remember, your resume and your cover letter need to work together toward this shared goal of getting an interview. If they do not work together, if they are simply redundant, if your cover letter simply articulates what your resume has on it, then you might as well just submit the resume. If you have a resume and a cover letter that complement one another, you're going to have details on your resume about your work history, and maybe you'll talk about specific projects that you've worked on in your cover letter that you couldn't go into detail on the resume. All right, so it's a good opportunity to kind of see how you can get these two documents to work together, providing information that's parallel to one another but not redundant. And that's basically what you're looking for when you're creating a cover letter. If you have any questions as you take this 4-paragraph draft and then begin moving towards a final draft of your cover letter, let me know. There are 2 examples of cover letters available in D2L, in the content section of D2L. So go ahead and also read those. They might not be from your specific field, but they can be helpful if you're looking for specific communication skills or strategies that will really stand out in this kind of a professional application packet. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, good luck and happy writing.